Welcome to Ethan Live podcast. Today is Saturday, August the 23rd. It is Health Unit Coordinators Day, National Sponge Cake Day. Y'all like sponge cake?
No.
I don't know if I've ever had it.
No? Okay. Here's one I know you'll like. It's Cheap Flight Day.
Oh, no,
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
that's a very good one.
I'm all in on Cheap Flight Day.
Yeah, we all like that one.
Find Your Inner Nerd Day. That's a good one.
Okay.
Let's see. National Ride the Wind Day and Valentino Day. So those are the days for today, and we're happy to get back into our Hero Dog podcast series. Hero Dog Awards. Right now, voting is open until September the 15th. You can vote once a day, once in each category, so it gives you 5 votes each day. Go to AmericanHumane.org, read the stories, pick the dog that you want to vote for. You can vote every day between now and September the 15th. Today, we are extremely happy to be to be joined by a service and guide / hearing Hero Dog semifinalist Willow and her person Caleigh. How are you doing, Caleigh?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having us.
We're doing well. I should say scientist / biologist.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to get all of her accolades in there. So yeah.
I do. I mean, breaking barriers, scientist, biologist, doing some fantastic things. Before we jump into like Willow's story and all of that, tell us a little bit. Well, first of all, tell everybody what part of the country you're in.
I live in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay, Las Vegas. So you're out on the western coast. Tell us a little bit about your life before Willow, how you got interested in animals and knowing that was something you wanted to do with your life, and then sort of your life leading up to before 2020 when you got Willow.
Yeah. So I've loved animals since I was a little girl, like for as long as I can remember, and I I had some severe, I don't know if I would call them medical issues, but I have some disabilities that severely impacted my life prior to meeting Willow. But early on, I wasn't able to work or didn't think I would be able to work ever. I would like go to work and kind of have panic attacks, and then I would need to leave. Like anytime I started a job, I had a difficult time holding it. And then I got my first job with animals when I was 19, and I realized that that was what I wanted to do long term. But I still struggled with something. So my love and like passion for animals led me to be able to actually go away to college, which I didn't think would ever be possible for me to do. Um, and then I ended up going to one day, I think it was in 2017, I signed up, or I think it was 2016. I signed up to volunteer on a sea turtle project off the coast of Georgia. And that was like a really unique thing for me to do because I had to go and stay on this island for a week with a bunch of strangers. And that was really scary for me at the time. But I kind of forced myself to go do it, like step out of my comfort zone. And then the week that I spent there changed my life. And so I ended up changing my career path. I originally wanted to be a vet. And when I interacted with sea turtles for the first time, I decided that I could probably do wildlife biology as a job. And so I changed the course of my career path and I transitioned into doing like wildlife work. So I've done work with sea turtles for 3 years. Prior to tortoises, I worked with water snakes, gopher tortoises, box turtles, all different kinds of turtles. And then I moved to Las Vegas in 2019 to work with Mojave Desert tortoises. And I still had some things that I struggled with. So, like during the pandemic, I was having a pretty hard time with some things. And that's when I learned about service animals, and I learned that they could help with some of the disabilities that I have. And when I got Willow, she kind of led me to another diagnosis that I have, which so she's a service dog for PTSD and autism specifically. And she actually helped lead to my autism diagnosis, which has been life changing.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you're definitely Jeff's hero as soon as you mention sea turtles.
Sea turtles are my favorite. I have
They're
many
mine
sea
too.
turtle. I have many sea turtle tattoos, and there's nothing quite like since it's National Nerd Day. There's nothing quite like snorkeling or scuba diving or with sea turtles. Like they're so
Yeah.
peaceful. Like they move through the water like a
Mm.
bird, just kind of just gracefully going through the air. They're such magnificent little creatures to follow around, and a lot of them will just let you just kind of follow right behind them, and they're really
Yeah.
really kind of fun. So I love sea
Yeah,
turtles.
they're awesome. They're my favorite too. I also have a sea turtle tattoo.
Yeah,
Oh, great.
they're the best. So you take this like that was very cool. You take this huge step even before Willow. You took this huge step out of your comfort zone to
Hmm.
go to go to this island. What gave you the courage and the confidence to be able
Yeah.
to do that?
You know what? I think it was just something that I always wanted to experience, and I felt like if I kept being afraid of things, I would never get to
Yep.
experience um, life to the fullest. So I remember the first time that I saw a sea turtle while I was on that island, and I um, that was the moment that kind of changed my life and helped me be better. So that moment helped show me all that I was missing out on life,
Mm.
or in life, being so scared and not being able to. I mean, it was bad. Like I couldn't even leave my house a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I couldn't sleep over friends' houses. That was another reason why going to the island was so scary, because I was going to be there for a week
Mm.
with a bunch of strangers sharing a like little
Uh,
cabin or
yeah.
little house. But yeah, it was very scary.
It's a good reminder, Caleigh, that, we can see disabilities. Sometimes we forget about the disabilities that aren't so visible,
Yeah, I
that,
agree.
that people
Right.
are experiencing. So,
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
exactly.
take a huge step and completely sort of flip your path
Mhm.
from being a vet to just was it strictly biology then, knowing that you wanted to work wildlife?
Yeah, so I still stayed in the same like degree program. So I was in the biotechnology program at my school, which was their pre-vet track kind of.
hey, well,
And she's like, "Hi." And then I just stayed in that program because I could still use it for wildlife stuff. So after I decided to do wildlife stuff, I kind of just started getting more experience doing like I did like an internship at a zoo, and then I did a couple volunteer things. I did uh prior to that I had worked in vets offices, which was one of my first animal jobs, and that's kind of what helped me get over my like work anxiety. It was the OCD, but um yeah, it helped me get past that. And then I went and worked at the Georgia Sea Turtle Center on Jekyll
oh,
Island doing
oh, Jekyll.
research. Yeah. And then
Uh-huh.
I worked on Ossabaw Island doing sea turtle conservation for the Georgia Department of Natural Resources. And um then I went to Vegas and worked for the US Geological Survey.
And so
Yeah.
you're still
And
with the U.S. Geological Survey, right?
no, so actually I resigned in September,
Okay.
this past September, and now I do I'm technically self-employed, so I do biological consulting now.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's very
But
cool. So
still working with desert tortoises.
yeah.
that's
Okay.
cool. So
Yeah.
when tell us about when you first uh, heard about service dogs, and that
Yeah.
maybe a service dog might be able to help with some of the things that you were going through.
Yeah, so it was during the pandemic, and I was just kind of confined to my room.
Uh,
Um, and I just started Googling. I don't know what prompted that actually. I think I was just having a hard time and I was trying to figure out what could benefit me.
mm-hmm.
And I learned about service dogs and I kind of went on like this deep dive on the internet about them. And medication wasn't really working for me the way that the way it's supposed to, I should say. So, I went on this like deep dive about service dogs and because I've always had such a deep connection with animals, I thought that it would be a really good option for me. So then I went and talked to like my medical provider about it. And when I first got her, because I had to train her under the direction of a program, when I first got her, I actually thought I made a mistake. So the symptoms of my disabilities got worse because the training was a lot of work and I was nervous going out in
Mm-hmm.
public and everything.
Yeah.
But then the amazing part was as her training improved, so did my like quality of life and my health.
Oh.
So, and now it's just like the best. But initially I was like, what did I do? This is not a
Oh.
good idea, but it ended up being the best idea ever.
Yeah.
So
She's a love.
when you had decided you were going to get her and things were kind of rough, if I remember from your story, it was some folks that you work with that sort of encouraged you to continue to keep trying. And where's Willow at? Bring her to work, and it was
Oh.
kind of them that kind of kept you going on this path. And then, as you say, as the training got better, then it helped you too.
Yeah, so the place that I worked at, the US Geological Survey, I am so grateful that that's where I attempted to do all of the work with, Willow worked with me. She still works with me, but she worked with me for all aspects of my job. So it was doing tortoise research, and there's a lot of handling the animals. We're hiking through rough terrain in the
Mm.
Mojave Desert. So I would do radio track the animals, do health assessments on them, which I would collect samples, so blood and oral swabs. I would attach radio transmitters and GPS loggers. We did climate monitoring, so checking rain gauges, doing juvenile tortoise forage observations, which is basically when you just watch the tortoises eat.
Ah.
Um, and I would do there's probably so much more that I'm forgetting. Vegetation, it was a lot. And I learned how to do all of that with Willow. And a lot of the reason we were able to succeed at that was because the coworkers that I had and my supervisors were absolutely incredible.
Mm.
And believe it or not, there were a lot of people who thought there was no possible way that I could do that. Like there's no way you could handle these animals and collect samples on them with a dog there, like all the stuff that, you know, and it was hard. I had to train her.
Oh yeah.
Um I trained her to work near me safely with the animals, and I was training her to be a service dog at the same time. And there was a lot of like trial and error. So it wasn't easy. It wasn't just like we walked out there one day and just did it. There was a lot that went into it. There was a transition period. So I like started with doing tortoise radio telemetry first because to me at the time that seemed like it would be the easiest. It was outside. I was by myself. The animals, it was over the winter, so the animals were in brumation, which is the reptile equivalent essentially of hibernation. Um, and so I figured that was the best place to start. So that's what I did first, and then I gradually like transitioned her. So then we did climate monitoring next, and then we did, I believe, office work, and then we did the health work and handling, which took the longest to figure out. And then captive tortoise care too, and foraging observations. And foraging observations are probably the hardest because you're not supposed to, you don't want the animals to know you're there.
No.
So Yeah. So I taught Willow kind of just to lay down under a Joshua tree and from a distance, and she would just hang out there. And
Oh,
yeah, it was a lot of work, but I really, my coworkers are the reason it happened. Like I remember being
oh,
so nervous. Oh yeah, I forgot that I also taught her how to find I taught her how to find tortoises.
oh my
So she
God.
that was her first tortoise that she ever found
Oh
without
my,
assistance.
oh wow.
So I walked right past that tortoise, and then Willow like stopped and kind of like refused to move.
Because,
And I'm like I'm like calling her and she's like kind of ignoring me. And I'm like, why is she ignoring me? And I turn and there's a tortoise right there.
oh,
And so I taught her how to find them when I would do radio telemetry. I would track the animals and then I would kind of teach her that way.
wow.
Um,
Her training is incredible, Caleigh, what all you've taught her to do.
Thank you.
So
She's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
And she was mostly trained from where you got her. She was mostly trained by you under
Mhm.
some direction from the service dog company. But all those like specific tasks that that involved with what you were doing in the desert and with the tortoises, you had to train those yourself just
Oh
for
yeah.
her. Like this is you were groundbreaking in bringing Willow
Uh,
into the field that you were doing. That's got to be very cool and very rewarding.
Yeah, so the funny thing about that is I actually didn't even know how important what I was doing was for a long time. It was really a crazy realization. So I actually like never talked about Willow for the first like 2 years. Not really anybody knew what I was doing. And then one day I I started to think, I want to start sharing more of this. And I offered to give a presentation for the Disability Inclusion Network for the Department of Interior.
oh,
And so the presentation was advertised in like a newsletter or something for the government. And the day of that presentation, over 1,000 people showed
oh,
up to hear it virtually. But um, and then after that, I started getting emails and messages from people all over the country that were really inspired by Willow's story and everything. And so since then, I just kind of kept going with it. It was a very emotional, impactful presentation that I gave that day. And it kind of like, I think it changed my life in a way because I realized it was when I realized, like, okay, what I'm doing is actually important. And I don't know why I didn't realize that
how
sooner.
important it was. Oh my,
Yeah.
oh goodness. Yeah, it's very important. So that is
Yeah, it
amazing.
is. So it kind of went from you
Your
being
needs.
able to use Willow to
Hmm.
help some things that you were struggling with, and bring her into a field that it's one of those things when you kind of get into and you don't know that no one's done it or you're not supposed to be doing it until you've
Yeah.
already done it. And now
Yeah.
it's kind of turned into, hey, as part of your story, it's a little bit of advocating for, what service dogs can do in those particular
Uh,
kind of fields. And even a little bit more importantly, that it's just not always as easy as I'm going to get a service dog and then my life is great again. Like there were
well,
some struggles with that, and it took a little
Oh,
while to get
yeah.
to where you wanted it.
Yep, it was rough. I can give an example. So when I first started working with Willow, the first well, I guess actually, so before I started working with Willow, when I'd go out to radio track tortoises, I would track like 20 in a day, 20, 22. And then the first day I brought Willow out, I was only able to track like 7 or 8.
mm,
And then because it was a lot of like figuring out how to like use my hands and where to put her and stuff, and that was just for tracking. So I do a lot more advanced stuff.
well,
um Aside from that, now it's just normal for me, but initially it was really hard to figure out. So then with the tracking, eventually the numbers went back up. So as we started improving as a team and gaining more experience as a team, I do wonder if it would be easier for a biologist that has a seasoned, or for a biologist that is a seasoned service dog handler, because this was also my first service dog.
Uh-huh.
And I was training Willow as we were like while we were working together initially.
Yeah.
She's fully trained now, but she was in training as well.
Mm.
And so I often wonder that if it was a seasoned service dog handler, would it have been easier? I think it's still hard because there aren't a lot of people who've done it, or none except for me.
Right.
And then, I also wonder if the dog was fully trained, like with
If
the
he,
public access service dog tasks and everything, if transitioning it into the desert would be a little easier as well.
okay.
So my story with that is pretty unique also in that she was in training. And so was I, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, you all trained
yeah.
together. So
Yes. Yeah. And now it's just normal. Like when I
yeah.
go out to work with her, it just feels normal.
And is it
Like
when you guys go out? Is it just for the most part, most of the time,
Just
just
the
you and
two of
her?
you.
No, so that was another thing that I remember the first time I had to train someone with Willow there was very nerve-wracking. So no, it's not always just us. Sometimes it is, but there have been times where I remember the very first time I did a health assessment with a tortoise. I believe with Willow there, I believe there were like 10 to 20 people around
Ooh, wow.
Mm.
because it was during a training session. Um, and then there were times where I'd train like small groups of people, so 2 or 3 people. Um, and then with some of the work, um, when I would do health assessments, it would just be me and one other person. I usually always had 1 or 2 teammates, but with tracking, it was just us. So that was another reason why I started with that.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's very cool. You're doing
Yeah.
some amazing stuff,
You
and
are.
letting other people see the abilities of what service dogs can do. They're not just limited to you know you know indoor places or helping people to accommodate those kind of tasks. You got her acclimated to outdoor. She's finding tortoises for you.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean,
She's
I
the
know.
best.
That's
she's like,
amazing.
wait a minute, Mom. There's one right here. Where are you going?
I liked her
You're
eye
passing
gear.
this one by. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
I
very
liked
cool.
her
So,
eye gear there.
so
Thank you.
you guys are doing some great things in that
Yeah.
scientific world. But tell us a little bit about what is Willow like at home when she's not
Yeah.
working. Tell us a little bit about
Well,
her personality.
She's a
so
love bug for one
she
thing.
is, but
Guys.
the second the vest or harness comes off, she's absolutely crazy. So
No.
she's pretty excited. She was just at the park before this call, like
Oh,
playing
okay.
with the ball. She loves swimming, and
Oh.
she loves food, so she loves to eat snacks.
Oh.
She loves people. So
Oh.
people was her love for people was one of the harder things with training her,
Oh.
because she just wanted to see everyone, and I think that was what she was most distracted by, was other people. But that was also why they thought she'd be a good service dog, because she loves people.
Right.
So
Right. She
Right.
wanted to
um
interact with everyone she saw.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So she loves like jumping in the pool. One really funny thing about her, she loves getting her teeth brushed.
Oh,
Oh. Okay.
It's really silly, but it's one of the things she likes.
Well.
Um, Her favorite animal is an otter.
oh,
Oh.
really? Nice.
Okay.
Well, I think the tortoise is her favorite animal, but at the aquarium, her favorite animal is the otter.
Now, has
Okay.
she ever swam with the sea
The turtle.
turtles?
No, she's never worked
No.
with me with sea turtles, and because I got her
After.
after I did that
Mhm.
work, and
Yeah.
I also with my sea turtle work, it was more like nesting
Oh.
Oh
sea
yeah.
turtles, so it
Mhm.
was on the beach, which would have been
Yeah.
I think she would have been able to do it, but I'm sure I don't know if that would have worked out, but I
Oh.
think being at USGS for this was the best thing for me. Like I was so lucky that that's where this all happened.
Yeah.
Yes, that photo's actually us. That's one of our weather stations at one of my old study sites.
Uh,
And Willow, that was the first day that Willow worked with a group of people. So it was me and two of my coworkers, and she helped set that weather station up.
oh, wow. You
That's
did.
very cool.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and then the weather station earned the name Willow's Station, and
Oh,
people really referred to it as Willow's Station for a while. I wonder if they still do, but they did for a
oh,
while.
oh.
I bet they do. Yeah,
I
I
bet
bet they
yeah,
do too.
yeah.
they
That
were
such cool stuff. And so you hear, how do you
get
moving a
into
little bit
the,
forward? How did you hear about the Hero Dog Awards? And
yeah.
when the thought going into nominating Willow.
Okay, this is actually also really funny, and I don't think I've talked about this. I think it was after I gave that presentation,
Uh-huh.
where like all of those people showed up, and it like I don't know, it changed my life. That's when I realized how special Willow was. And I
Yeah.
always knew she was special, but how special her story was. And so I think I looked up online like awards for dogs
Okay.
Oh,
because
nice.
I think she deserves
Uh-huh.
an award, and she is a hero. She's a
Mm-hmm.
hero for me, and she's a hero for a lot of people who have heard her story, and for the Mojave Desert tortoise.
Def
So yeah, because they're a federally threatened species too,
mhm.
and that's another unique part of the story is like I haven't heard of any service dogs really working in wildlife field, but especially with a federally threatened species, and we always work very safely with them, and but she's a hero for them too because she kind of in a way helps with their conservation.
Mm.
And a lot of times when people think of conservation dogs, they think of, dogs that detect animals, which Willow can do, but that's not her primary job. And so I really want people to think of service dogs when they think of conservation dogs
Uh-huh.
as well, because she helps improve my quality of life so that I can continue doing the work that I do with the animals. And
Mm-hmm.
then she also helps them by finding them too.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought that she was deserving of some kind of award, and that's how I found the Hero Dog Awards. And then I was like, this is perfect because
Uh,
it's everything that she is, I
It
think.
is. It is everything she is, and it would be
yeah.
perfect. Yeah, and they do such. Hero Dog Awards does such a wonderful job of recognizing people and dogs.
Right.
As you know, Dr. Robin will say hero on both sides of the leash, both ends of the leash,
Yeah.
and so it does a wonderful job of not only highlighting the incredible things that Willow can do, but that you're doing too in your field.
Mhm.
Like, before Willow, you got to the point where you could overcome a few things, and then Willow comes into your life, a little
And
bit of a
wow.
struggle, but then think of the incredible things and the journey that you guys have had since she's come into your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I So one of the other really special things about Willow is that um I was struggling for a long time and not really knowing why to at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
Just feeling kind of like an alien, I guess I could say, or like I don't know, I always wondered like why I don't fit in and why is it so hard for me to make friends and just a lot of stuff. And
Yeah.
I remember I started her like social media account, so it was like an Instagram for her, and I started to follow a bunch of service dog handlers on the Instagram account. And then I think it took a while, but I started to follow people who were autistic with service dogs. And
Oh.
then I would start reading like all this educational stuff that they would post, and then I I started to realize that everything I was reading sounded just like me. And so I went and started kind of like researching stuff. And then I went to my medical provider at the time, and I mentioned that I suspected that I might be autistic. And so then I ended up getting assessed and everything, and it turns out that was the case. And so it changed my life entirely. And I think, it was more of like an indirect role that Willow played, but had I not had her, had I not gotten her, I would have never got involved with the online disability community. I would have never, there's no way I would have gone the rest of my life not knowing.
Wondering.
And and it's changed my life. I no longer feel bad about who I am like I used to. Um, I I've learned to like the person that I am, and realize that like my disabilities are actually a gift and they just make me different, and that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's been life-changing, everything. I mean, the autism diagnosis especially, and then Willow's also brought a lot of people into my life. So I have a lot more friends. Like some of my best friends I met because of Willow. And a lot of that was on social media, but some of it was in person as well. And that's been life changing. Before it was so hard for me to make like long-term connections with people. And I met some of my very best friends because of her. So she is truly a hero. I think she's the best.
She definitely is a hero. And so now you are doing some consultation, but still doing a little bit of work with the tortoises?
Yeah, I still do. It's still tortoise work, so I still kind of do the same stuff that I was doing before. So tracking health work, uh, attaching radio transmitters and things like that. It's just I'm working for myself instead of for, yeah.
Yeah.
And so Willow works with me on one of the projects that I work on, doing that kind of stuff. But and hopefully she'll be transitioned into others in the future as well.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
very cool. Well, you all are doing some amazing work, and
Thank you.
Willow has allowed you to meet some new folks online or in person, and hopefully the Hero Dog Awards will even open your all story up even more, and people will be more aware of what you all are doing.
Thank you. I hope so too.
Yeah, and so I'm so happy that you guys join us today. But sometimes I get so interested in talking that I want to make sure I get all of Willow's beautiful pictures up here.
That one, that's her posing behind a desert plant out here, called the globe mallow. And that's one of the tortoise favorite food plants.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
That's very interesting.
There you are with the tortoise. How long do those tortoises live?
Oh, you know what? I don't know if we know the exact age that they live to.
Okay.
But they can get pretty old, probably over like, I would think probably 50 to 80 years old, but yeah,
wow. Okay.
maybe older.
And they're still currently on the federal, is it endangered list or federal?
Yeah, they're federally threatened.
Federally threatened.
Under the Endangered Species Act.
Oh, wow. No, that's still so cute. It's like, I got it, Mom, I found it.
Yeah, I love these pictures. So, Caleigh, thank you for all the work that you do. And
thank you for
coming on here, and voting for Hero Dog Awards. And Willow is absolutely definitely a hero, as are you, Caleigh.
Yes,
thank you.
Is open until September the 15th. You can go to AmericanHumane.org. You can vote once a day. There are 5 categories, so you can vote in each category. So go to AmericanHumane.org and read the story, and hopefully you listen to a lot of the stories we tell on here, and make sure to get your vote in by then. And Caleigh, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure, really a pleasure to talk to you and hear your story about what you're doing.
You and
Willow, thank you so much.
You will just continue to find new doors to open.
And
Thank you.
if you get back into like the sea turtle
Yeah, there
conservation
you
and
go.
tracking sea turtles, give me a call. I mean,
I
I'll be happy to come and join you.
I will.
Thank you so much, Caleigh. Have a
Okay,
wonderful time and
Thank
good luck with
you.
everything.
thanks, Willow.
Thank you. She says
Oh,
thank you.
Thanks, Willow.
all right.